So what is law? According to the Administrative Law of 2017, the law of nature is an emanation of divine providence, and law being rooted in the nature and reason of humanity. Natural jurists frequently argue that law in action is more than a set of rules, rather it entails the application of certain principles, such as those of equity and justice to resolve disputes. This legal theory was developed from the ancient until the 16th or 17th centuries, depending on the source. Great philosophers such as Socrates, Aristotle, the Stoics, Cicero, and St. Augustine, among
Sources of Philippines educational jurisprudence. Statutes. It is said that the welfare of the people is the highest law. Salus populi est suprema lex, which translates as the welfare of the people is the highest law, according to Sutton 2012. In connection with the preceding, Chavez 2006 pointed out that the service to the people can take the form of healthcare programs, security systems, and educational opportunities. According to speculation, it was for this reason that the drafters of the 1987 Philippine Constitution made it a point to emphasize that the state shall protect and promote all citizens' rights to quality education at all levels, and shall take appropriate steps to make such educational accessible to all, according to Section 1, Article 14 of the Constitution. Base law or jurisprudence. Since the first Philippine Republic establishment, laws and jurisprudence have remained in effect until repealed or suspended. Book resources. Case law or jurisprudence. Since the first Philippine Republic establishment, laws and jurisprudence have remained in effect until repealed or supersede. Book resources like reference materials, treatises, commentaries and annotations, and electronic resources such as the internet are increasingly popular for finding laws and jurisprudence. Access to legal information and materials and their acquisition is difficult in the Philippines due to the following factors. First, there are no comprehensive and up-to-date or most recent printed laws and jurisprudence like case law, regardless of whether they are primary sources published by the Philippine National or Government Printing Office or secondary sources by the commercial or private institution. The Philippine Reports, a compilation of Supreme Court decisions from 1901 to 1961, are no longer available. To address this issue, in 1983, the Chief Justice requested that President Ronald Reagan transfer to the Supreme Court printing and publication of this primary source, which President Ronald Reagan approved. On the other hand, in terms of legislation, President Corazon C. Aquino signed Executive Order Number 200, Section 1986 on June 18, 1987, which became effective immediately. As a result of this executive order, Article 2 of the Civil Code was amended, which stated that the law shall take the effect 15 days after their completion of publication in the official gazette. Laws shall take effect 15 days after the completion of their publication in the official gazette or a newspaper of general circulation. According to the Executive Order Number 200, all legislative enactments, also known as Republic Acts, are still published in the official gazette to serve as a primary documentation source. In the United States, only a few law libraries have complete compilations of laws from 1898 to 1987. It is only possible to obtain a microfilm copy of the entire collection of the official gazette, which contains all the legislation that must be published under the Philippine Civil Code for legislation to be effective. Second, no comprehensive search tools for laws and jurisprudence exist, such as indexes, digests, and so on. The solution to the issue mentioned earlier is to employ cutting-edge technology. Government agencies, including government-owned and controlled corporations, maintain websites to post their rules and regulations. These rules and regulations are accessible to the public on a global scale. The Philippines Constitution, the fundamental and the supreme law of the land, is the primary source of the Philippine law. Legal documents such as acts of Congress, municipal charters and legislation, court rules, administrative and judicial orders, legislative rules, and presidential issuances are all examples of statutes. Ordinance. Act refers to Republic Act number 10533, entitled An Act Enhancing the Philippine Basic Education System by strengthening its curriculum and increasing the number of years for basic education, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes, otherwise known as the Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2013. Learning Center refers to a physical space to house learning, resources, and facilities of a learning program for out of school youth and adults. According to RA 10157, also known as the Kindergarten Education Act, which makes kindergarten education the first stage of compulsory and mandatory formal education prior to grade 1. This was actually passed before the K-12 curriculum law. According to RA 10627, or the Anti-Bullying Act of 2013, this law is one of the first anti-bullying laws in the world. Under this law, all public and private basic education schools are mandated to adopt anti-bullying policies and establish intervention programs for both the child victim and the child bully. Major legal bases the Philippine Constitution are the following: 1935 Constitution, Article 14, Section 5. 1973 Constitution, Article 16, Section 8, 1. Major legal bases the Philippine Constitutions are the following: 1935 Constitution, Article 14, Section 5. 1973 Constitution, Article 15, Section 8, from 1 to 8. And 1987 Constitution, Article 14, Section 1 to 5, number 5. Resolutions. The state shall protect and promote the right of all citizens to quality education at all levels and shall take appropriate steps to make such education accessible to all, in accordance to the Article 14, Section 1 to 19 of the 1987 Philippine Constitution.
Legal underpinning Philippine education. Legal bases or measures that place restriction on both the teacher and the students in order to avoid situations in which the right of both parties are violated. Understanding this legal foundation can assist us in determining what a teacher is required to accomplish and vice versa. Educational structure. The Philippine education system has evolved during centuries of colonial control, first by Spain and then by the United States, as well as martial law and the People Power Revolution that brought democracy to the Philippine archipelago. The evolution of the education sector has paralleled changes in the country's governance. Today, the emphasis is on increasing access and ensuring that more Filipinos acquire a good basic education in order to reduce poverty and improve national competitiveness. According to the World Bank, similar measures have resulted in significant economic advantages in other countries. Educational policies. Child-friendly school system or CFSS. As stated from the DepEd Tambayan, a child-friendly school is more than just a place where children can learn in a formal setting. It is first and foremost an institution that recognizes and respects the full range of children's rights, not only their right to education. These rights also include the right to be healthy, to have chances for play and leisure, to be protected from violence and abuse, to freely express their opinions, to participate in decision making as their capacities develop. Second one, Every Child Reader Program or ECAR. From the Department of Education 12, SOC Sergeant stated, the ECARP is a national program that addresses the thrust of DepEd to make every Filipino child a reader at his or her own level. It is designed to equip elementary pupils with strategic reading and writing skills to make them independent young readers and writers. It also provides a year-long training for teachers to make them multi-literate and independent problem solvers. The third one, Brigada Eskwela. The National Schools Maintenance Week, also known as the Brigada Eskwela, is an annual activity led by the DepEd where everyone in the school community, including the private sector, work together to prepare schools for the opening of the classes. The last one, the Adopt a School program. It provides a structured pathway for partnership between schools and our community of supporters. This program is intended for corporate and community organizations interested in building relationships with schools that support student success for a minimum of 1 academic year. During this collaboration, partners in school will work together to determine how to best connect partner resources and interest with the school's unique needs. This relationship is a joint effort led by the school and the partner organization, as well as being supported by the school partnership teams. The fifth one or the last one, Alternative Learning System or ALS. It is a parallel learning system in the Philippines that provides a practical option to the existing formal instruction. When one does not have or cannot access formal education in schools, ALS is an alternate or substitute. ALS includes non-formal and informal sources of knowledge and skills. For a variety of reasons, many Filipinos are unable to attend and complete a formal basic education from grades 1 to 6 and years 1 to 4. Some students drop out of school while others live in areas where schools are not available. Because every Filipino has the right to a free basic education, the government created ALS to give all Filipinos the opportunity to receive and complete basic education in a manner that best suits their individual circumstances and requirements. Curriculum and instruction. We may think of curriculum as a content that is taught and instruction as a method by which that content is delivered. Curriculum can be thought of as the what or the goals, and instruction as the how or means. Curriculum can be defined as a program, a plan, material, and learning experiences. Whereas instruction can be defined as methods, a teaching act, execution, and presentation. As stated from the Department of Education, and curriculum and instruction ensures that the The organization focuses on the delivery of a relevant, responsive, and effective basic education curriculum around which all other strands and offices provide a support.